Joseph Winters opened his eyes slowly. The bright lights of the preservation vault hurt after 3,000 years of darkness. His mouth felt dry, and his body ached. The computer voice repeated its message. Hibernation complete. Earth date, equivalent. Year 5247. Joseph pulled himself up from the cryopod. His legs were weak, but he could stand. The room was cold metal with blinking lights. Screens showed the status of other pods. 50,000 humans slept in this vault, hidden between galaxies far from where Earth once existed. Begin revival sequence for command staff, Joseph said. His voice cracked after not being used for so long. The computer responded, beginning revival of Lisa Daniels, Gregory Mason, and Patricia Norton. Joseph walked to a small mirror on the wall. His face looked the same as when he went to sleep, but his eyes seemed older somehow. He touched the smooth skin of his face. The technology had worked. They had survived. 3 pods near him started to open with a hiss. Lisa was the first to wake. She sat up quickly, looking around with alert eyes. Did it work? Are we still alive? She asked. Yes, Joseph said. It's been 3,000 years since Earth. Gregory and Patricia woke soon after. Gregory immediately went to check the ship's systems while Patricia held her head in her hands, trying to accept their new reality. I remember the day like it was yesterday, Patricia said. The Galactic Council vote, the evacuation, the sky falling. Lisa walked to the main control panel and pressed a series of buttons. A large screen lit up, showing images of a blue-green planet, Earth as it once was. Computer, show final records of Earth, Lisa commanded. The screen changed to show a large meeting hall filled with alien beings of various shapes and colors. They sat in a circle arguing. The translation came through their speakers. The humans are too unpredictable, said a tall, thin alien with blue skin. They advance too quickly. Their emotions make them dangerous. They've broken no laws, said another alien with 4 arms. Yet, said a third. It's only a matter of time. We must act now. The screen showed the vote. 25 for removal, 3 against, 1 abstained. The images changed to show massive ships appearing in Earth's orbit. Light beams cutting into the planet, the oceans boiling, the continents breaking apart. Then nothing but space where Earth once was. Patricia turned away from the screen. Gregory pushed buttons on a tablet, checking data. Lisa watched Joseph's face, waiting for his reaction. We knew this already, Joseph said quietly. We were there. We escaped because of the warning from Ambassador Czar, the only aliens who tried to help us. The question is, what do we do now? Lisa asked. We're the last humans. 50,000 of us. Gregory looked up from his tablet with wide eyes. You need to see this. The ship's AI didn't sleep like we did. It's been working for 3,000 years. He connected his tablet to the main screen. It showed schematics of weapons, ships, and technology far more advanced than what they had when they left Earth. The AI followed its programming to protect humanity and prepare for our awakening, Gregory explained. It's been gathering intelligence, developing technology, and watching the council all this time. Patricia moved to another console and began reading rapidly. According to these reports, the council has erased all records of Earth and humans from official history. We're considered extinct, just a myth now. Joseph walked around the command center, thinking. The others watched him. As chief hibernation officer, he had been chosen to lead when they woke up. Wake up the next tier of personnel, Joseph ordered. We need to get the ship fully operational. Over the next few days, more humans awoke. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, and doctors moved throughout the massive preservation vault, a ship the size of a small city. The mood was a mix of grief and purpose. They had lost everything but each other. 1 week after the first awakening, Joseph called a meeting in the central hall. 500 people gathered, the leaders of various sections of their new society. We have a decision to make, Joseph said, his voice echoing in the large room. The Galactic Council destroyed our home. They killed billions of our people. They erased us from history. The crowd was silent, waiting. Some of you want peace. You say we should find a new planet far away and start over. Some want revenge, to do to them what they did to us. Lisa stood next to Joseph. The council still exists. Many of the species who voted for our destruction are still out there. 3 of the council members who led the vote are still alive, kept alive by their technology. Gregory stepped forward with his tablet. We have advantages they don't know about. Our ship can cloak itself from their sensors. Our weapons can penetrate their defenses, and most importantly, they think we're extinct. Patricia joined them. They fear us even though they think we're gone. In their stories, humans are like demons, dangerous beings who might return someday. Joseph looked at the crowd. I've made my decision. We won't hide and we won't extinct ourselves with blind revenge. We will return to council space. We will build our strength in secret. We will find allies. And then we will reveal ourselves and demand justice for Earth. The crowd was quiet for a moment. Then someone started to clap. Others joined. Soon the whole room was filled with the sound of determined applause. This won't be easy, Joseph continued, when the noise died down. It may take years. Some of us may not live to see it finished. But we will reclaim humanity's place in the galaxy and hold those responsible for Earth's destruction accountable. After the meeting, Joseph stood with Lisa, Gregory, and Patricia in the observation dome. Through the clear ceiling, they could see endless stars. Somewhere out there was the galaxy they once called home. What do we call ourselves now? Patricia asked. We're not just the preservation mission anymore. Joseph thought for a moment. Reclamation. Our ship, our mission, our purpose. We are the reclamation of humanity. Lisa nodded. Reclamation it is. Gregory worked on his tablet. I've started analyzing which systems we should approach first. We'll need resources, information, and we'll need to stay hidden until we're ready, Patricia added. Joseph placed his hand on the cool glass of the dome. 3,000 years they've lived without consequences for what they did. That ends now. The lights of the preservation vault, now the reclamation, glowed in the darkness between galaxies. Inside, 50,000 humans prepared for their return. The last of their kind, thought to be extinct, carrying the memory of a blue-green world that the galaxy had been forced to forget. Earth was gone, but humanity was coming back. 1 year passed since the humans awoke. The reclamation moved quietly to the edge of council space. They chose a small trading post on an asteroid as their first contact point. The post was busy, filled with many alien species, where strangers would not draw much attention. Alan Murphy checked his disguise one more time. The synthetic skin covered his human features, making him look like a common Vexian trader. His eyes, now large and yellow, blinked at his reflection. How do I look? He asked Nicole Hayes, who stood nearby adjusting her own disguise. Like a proper alien, she said. Remember, Vexians speak slowly and never show their teeth. They consider it rude. Nicole's disguise made her appear as a Tellurian, a species, known for their trading skills and travel between systems. Her skin was now a pale purple with small ridges along her forehead. Frank Daniels finished loading their ship with trade goods. The translator implants are working perfectly. You'll understand everything they say, and your words will sound right to them. Joseph entered the launch bay where the small team prepared for their mission. This is just information gathering. Trade, listen, learn, and come back. No risks. Alan nodded. We understand, sir. 2 weeks at the trading post, then back home. The small ship launched from the reclamation, which stayed hidden behind a dead moon. This was the first human contact with alien civilization in 3,000 years. No one knew what to expect. The trading post, called Karen's Point by locals, was a busy place carved into a large asteroid. Ships came and went at all hours. Inside, the curved tunnels were filled with shops, bars, and meeting places. The air smelled strange, a mix of alien foods, fuels, and creatures. Alan and Nicole moved through the crowds acting like regular traders. They sold their goods, simple electronics made on the reclamation, and bought supplies. But they're real. Work was listening and watching. Heard anything about council patrols? Alan asked a four-armed dealer as they traded power cells. Increased lately, the dealer said. They say smugglers are causing trouble near the Vega sector, but it's always something with the council. Nicole spent time in local eating places, joining conversations carefully. She learned that council taxes had risen. Many outer worlds felt forgotten. This was useful information, places where humans might find allies. At night, Alan and Nicole sent coded messages back to the reclamation using a small device Frank had built. The device looked like a common trader's calculator, but sent signals no council tech could detect. On the fifth day, something unexpected happened. Nicole was sitting in a corner of a busy drink shop when she heard a word that made her freeze. Humans? Those are just old stories to scare children, a large green alien said to his drinking partner. My grandfather swore they were real. The other alien argued. Said the council destroyed their world because they were too dangerous. Called it Earth or dirt or something. Nicole tried not to react. She sipped her drink slowly, listening hard. If they were real, they're long gone now, the green alien laughed. Nothing could survive what the council did. That night, Nicole told Alan what she had heard. They remember us as myths, scary stories. That could work in our favor, Alan said. Let's find out more. Over the next week, they carefully asked questions about human myths wherever they went. The responses surprised them. Some aliens laughed at the idea. Others looked nervous and changed the subject. A few seemed interested and shared stories they had heard. Humans were violent, humans were clever, humans could adapt to anything. One old trader pulled Alan aside after hearing his questions. Why do you ask about humans? That's dangerous talk. Just curious about old stories, Alan said carefully. The old trader looked around to make sure no one was listening. There's a place in the Orion Arm, empty now. No planets worth visiting. But council ships still patrol there. Why guard empty space unless there's something to hide? Alan bought the trader another drink and learned more. Council records claimed the empty region had always been that way, a natural space with no habitable worlds. But older traders remembered differently. They remembered warnings to avoid a specific system there, long ago. When Alan and Nicole returned to the reclamation, they brought valuable information. Joseph called a meeting with the command staff to hear their report. The council has erased Earth from official records, Nicole explained, but they couldn't erase it from memory completely. The story of humans lives on as legends and myths. And fear, Alan added. Many species still fear the idea of humans even though they think we're extinct. Lisa studied the star maps they had purchased. This empty region in the Orion Arm, it's where our solar system was. They've removed all record of it, but they still guard it. Gregory smiled for the first time in weeks. That's a weakness we can use. Their own guilt forces them to guard an empty region of space. There's more, Nicole said. I found references to something called the repository. From what I could gather, it's a secret collection of items from forbidden worlds, possibly including Earth artifacts. Joseph walked around the table slowly, thinking. We need to find this repository. If Earth items still exist somewhere, we need to recover them. Over the next months, more teams visited different trading posts and planets on the Council's edges. Eleanor Wells joined a team posing as medical researchers. She gained access to genetic databases on 3 worlds. Look at this, she told Joseph, when she returned. Several Council species show genetic modifications that include DNA patterns very similar to human genes. They've been using parts of our genetic code to improve themselves even while pretending we never existed. Frank worked with his engineering team to study and reverse engineer Council technology from items they purchased or sometimes stole. Their tech has advanced, but not as much as ours has. The AI's work during our sleep gave us advantages they don't have. Joseph decided it was time for the next phase. We need a permanent base in this galaxy, not just our ship. Lisa found what they needed, an abandoned mining world at the edge of Council space. The planet had been stripped of valuable minerals and left behind. Underground tunnels and facilities remained intact. We'll call it New Haven, Joseph announced as the first teams began converting the old mining base into a human outpost. From New Haven and the reclamation, human influence slowly spread through the shadows of council space. They traded, gathered information, and built a network of contacts who didn't know they were helping humans. They were careful never to reveal their true nature. The council noticed something happening at the edges of their territory, but they couldn't identify the cause. Reports mentioned missing supplies, unusual trading patterns, and strange signals. Council security forces increased patrols but found nothing solid to pursue. "They're looking for us," Lisa told Joseph as they reviewed council communications, intercepted by Gregory's team. "But they don't know what they're looking for." Joseph watched a hologram showing the spread of human operations across the galaxy, small points of light in the vast darkness. "Soon they'll know, but not until we're ready." The ghosts of Earth were returning, and the Galactic Council had no idea what was coming. The human presence grew stronger over the next year. New Haven expanded deep into the abandoned mining planet. What started as a small outpost became a busy underground city. Thousands of humans now lived there, with more waking from hibernation each month. Samuel Rodriguez stood in the training center watching men and women practice combat moves. As military commander, he had one job: prepare an army that could fight the council if needed. "Again," he ordered. The soldiers repeated, their exercise with energy weapons. "Remember, most council species have different weak points than humans. Aim where I showed you." On the other side of New Haven, Olivia Bennett sat with her team in a room filled with screens. They studied council news, entertainment, and communication patterns. Olivia's job was to create fear and confusion without revealing the human presence. "Send the next story package to our contacts in the trade networks," she told her team. "The one about mysterious ship disappearances near the Orion Arm." William Clark worked nearby, his fingers moving quickly over a glowing keyboard. As their technology expert, he had been working for months to access the council's central archives. "I'm in," he said quietly. No one heard him at first. "I'm in," he repeated louder. People around him stopped what they were doing. "You accessed the central archives?" Olivia asked, eyes wide. William nodded, smiling. "Their security is good, but not good enough. I can't change major records yet, that would trigger alarms. But I can add small mentions of Earth and humans in older historical documents, just enough to make people question the official history." Joseph was called immediately. He arrived with Lisa and Gregory. "Show me," Joseph said. William displayed his work on a large screen. "I've added small references in historical texts. A mention of human delegates at a trade conference 3,100 years ago. A reference to Earth metals being valuable. Nothing direct about our destruction, just evidence we existed." "Perfect," Joseph said. "Confusion and doubt are powerful weapons." Meanwhile, Diana Foster had achieved something even more dangerous. Disguised as a rare species from the outer systems, she had secured a job in council security. Her cover story was perfect. Her people were so rare that no one knew much about them. This allowed her to hide her human nature. In her small apartment on the council administrative world, Diana sent an encrypted message to New Haven. "I have the names. I repeat, I have the names and current locations of the 5 council members who pushed hardest for Earth's destruction." This news caused excitement at New Haven. For the first time, they had specific targets, the architects of Earth's doom. 3 are still alive, Diana's message continued. Using life extension technology. The other 2 died centuries ago, but their descendants hold positions of power. Joseph called his top advisors to discuss this news. The room was divided. "We should strike now," Samuel argued. "Take out these 3 while we can." "That would alert the entire council before we're ready," Lisa countered. "We need patience." The debate continued until Gregory interrupted with news of his own. "We found something interesting. A splinter group within the council that opposed Earth's destruction has been preserving human artifacts in secret." He showed images of a hidden facility on a small moon. "They call themselves the Preservers. They've collected items from Earth, art, books, even soil samples. They believe the council was wrong and keep these things as a form of memorial. Can we contact them? Joseph asked. Too risky, Lisa said. But we can use this information. The plan developed quickly. Instead of attacking council members directly, they would increase their operations and make their presence felt more strongly. Samuel organized small strike teams that began hitting minor council facilities, supply, depots, communication relays, and unmanned outposts. They left no evidence of who they were, just enough damage to cause concern. William continued his work in the archives, adding more references to Earth and humans. He also began planting stories about returning ghosts and ancient vengeance. Olivia's psychological operations spread these stories through trade networks and public spaces. Soon, many worlds were talking about the strange events and old legends coming to life. The council finally noticed something serious was happening. They called an emergency meeting of security officials. Diana attended this meeting in her disguise. She recorded everything and sent it to New Haven. Multiple attacks on council facilities suggest organized action, said the chief of security, but we can't identify the group responsible. Could it be the Zarin rebels? Asked another official. No, their tactics are different. This is something new, the chief replied. One old council member with thin blue skin and large eyes looked nervous. What about the human myth? Could there be any truth to it? The room went quiet. No one wanted to suggest something so impossible. Humans are extinct, the chief said firmly. They have been for 3,000 years. This is likely a new rebel group using old myths to frighten people. Diana smiled inside but kept her alien face blank. The seed of fear had been planted. Back at New Haven, Joseph received more good news. A team led by Frank had found and salvaged a decommissioned council warship floating in a debris field. We can restore it, Frank explained. With our improved technology, we can make it better than new. And because it's registered as destroyed in council records, they won't recognize it. The ship was moved to a hidden dock near New Haven. Work began immediately to bring it back to life. Joseph walked through New Haven, watching his people work with purpose. What had started as a mission of survival now felt like something more. Humans were not just surviving, they were thriving in the shadows, preparing to reclaim their place. We need to send a message, Joseph told his advisors. Something the council can't ignore but can't quite understand yet. Lisa suggested a plan. The council was sending an investigation team to check the recent attacks on their outer facilities. This team would be led by a mid-level official, important enough to matter but not so important that losing them would cause a crisis. We capture them, Lisa said. We show them we're human. We tell them our story. Then we let them go. They won't believe it, Gregory said. They'll think it's a trick. Exactly, Lisa replied. They'll report what they saw, but the council will think they're confused or lying. It will create more doubt and fear. The plan was approved. Samuel's team prepared the ambush. They would capture the investigation team, reveal themselves as humans, and then release them with a simple message. We remember. We have returned. Justice is coming. As the council ship approached the ambush point, Joseph stood on the bridge of their newly acquired warship. The vessel hummed with power, council technology enhanced by human innovation. This is just the beginning, he said quietly. Soon the Galactic Council will know the truth. Humanity was not erased. We survived. And we're coming for those who tried to destroy us. The trap was set. The first official contact between humans and the Galactic Council in 3,000 years was about to begin. Not with peace, but with a warning. The council investigation team never knew what hit them. One moment their ship was scanning an abandoned outpost. The next moment they were surrounded by vessels that appeared from nowhere. Their communications went dead. Their engines stopped. They were pulled into a larger ship's docking bay. The team of 5 aliens sat frozen in fear as the airlock to their ship opened. Figures in dark suits entered, faces hidden behind masks. The leader of the investigation team, a tall Zentari with green scales, stood up. We are on official council business. This action will bring severe punishment, he said, trying to sound brave. The masked figures said nothing. They motioned for the aliens to follow. With no choice, the investigation team walked through the airlock into the larger ship. They were led to a plain room with a large table and chairs. The masked figures pointed for them to sit. Once they did, all but one of the masked figures left. "What do you want? Ransom? Technology?" the Zentari leader asked. The remaining figure touched something on his wrist. The mask disappeared, revealing a face that made the aliens gasp. The face looked like something from ancient warning tales. A face, with flat features, small eyes, a nose that stuck out, and a mouth with flat teeth. A human face. "My name is Joseph Winters," he said, "and I am human." The aliens looked at each other in confusion and fear. One of them, a small blue creature, started to laugh nervously. "Humans are extinct." "This is a trick," she said. Joseph smiled. "That's what your council wants everyone to believe. That they successfully erased us from existence when they destroyed Earth 3,000 years ago." He touched another control on his wrist. The wall behind him became a screen showing images of Earth, oceans, mountains, cities, and then its destruction by council weapons. Some of us escaped. We slept for 3,000 years. Now we're awake, and we want justice. The aliens stared in shock. The Zentari leader found his voice first. "Even if what you say is true, none of us had anything to do with that decision. It was before our time." "We know," Joseph said. "You're not our targets. You're our messengers." For the next hour, Joseph showed them evidence of human survival and their growing presence in council space. He explained how council history had been changed to remove all mention of Earth and humanity. He showed them the names of those responsible, 3 still alive due to life-extending technology. "You will return to the council with this information," Joseph told them. "Tell them what you've seen. Tell them humans have returned." "They won't believe us," the blue alien said. "That's fine," Joseph replied. "This is just the beginning. Soon they won't be able to deny our existence." The investigation team was returned to their ship with copies of the evidence. Their engines were restarted and they were released. As they sped back toward council space, they argued about what to do. "If we report this, they'll think we're crazy," one said. "If we don't report it and humans really are back, we'll be blamed for hiding it," another argued. The Zentari leader made the decision. "We report everything exactly as it happened. Let the council decide what to believe." Back on the human ship, Joseph met with Richard Collins, who commanded their growing fleet. In the 3 years since they had awakened, humans had acquired or built 20 vessels. Some were salvage council ships. Others were built from scratch using advanced designs created by their AI during the long sleep. "The message has been delivered," Joseph said. "What's our next move?" Richard showed him a holographic map of council space. "We have 3 targets ready for simultaneous strikes: a shipyard, a communications hub, and a minor council member's personal estate." Joseph studied the map. "The shipyard and communications hub, yes. The personal estate, no. We're not targeting individuals yet, just institutions." Richard nodded. "Understood. We launch in 3 days." Meanwhile, Julia Morris worked with her engineering team on their newest technology. She had combined human innovation with alien tech to create something new, a device that could temporarily disable council defensive systems. "It works by sending a specific frequency that interferes with their shield generators," she explained to Gregory. "It won't last long, maybe 2 minutes, but that's enough time for our ships to get close." Gregory looked impressed. This changes everything. Their defensive systems were their biggest advantage. On another part of their ship, Keith Parker met with Joseph. Keith was different from the other humans. He was born on a council world. His ancestors were humans who had been off Earth during its destruction. They had hidden their identity, married into alien families, and passed as non-humans for generations, but they had secretly maintained their human heritage and records of Earth. There were others like him, perhaps a few thousand spread across council space. They had been quietly contacted after the human return. Some, like Keith, chose to join the cause openly. Others remained in place, providing information and support. "The Council is in disarray following your message," Keith told Joseph. The investigation team's report was initially dismissed as a hoax or delusion, but some members are taking it seriously, especially the older ones who might remember the truth. "Good," Joseph said. "Confusion works in our favor for now." "There's more," Keith continued. "I've found others willing to help us. Aliens who oppose Council policies. They don't know we're human yet, but they're unhappy with Council rule. They could become allies." Joseph considered this. "Set up secure communications. We'll need all the help we can get." In her secured room on the Council administrative world, Diana Foster sent another encrypted message to New Haven. She had accessed the deepest Council archives and found something important. The central life support system for the long-living Council members is in a single facility. Her message read, "All 3 of our targets use it. It's heavily guarded, but if we could access it, we would have leverage over them." Vanessa Wright, their master strategist, began working on a plan that would come to be called Operation Reckoning. It would be the moment when humans stepped fully from the shadows and forced the Council to acknowledge their crime. "We can't just confront them with demands," she explained to Joseph and the other leaders. "The Council species have been taught for generations that humans never existed or were just monsters in stories. We need to show everyone the truth at once." Her plan was bold. Using Diana's position inside Council security, they would hack into the galaxy-wide communication network during a major Council announcement. They would broadcast the true history of Earth's destruction to every world simultaneously. "While they're reeling from this revelation, our ships will appear above key Council worlds," Vanessa continued. "Not to attack, but to demonstrate our presence and power. We'll demand a formal acknowledgement of what they did and a trial for those responsible." The plan would take months to prepare. Every human ship and agent would need to be in position. The timing had to be perfect. As preparations began, Joseph spent time in a special room aboard the Reclamation. It contained soil from Earth, plants grown from seeds that had slept for 3,000 years, and images of the homeworld most humans now living had never seen in person. "We're not just doing this for revenge," he said to Lisa, who had joined him. "We're doing it so humanity can have a future in this galaxy. A recognized future, not a hidden one." Lisa nodded. "The Council needs to learn that erasing a species is not something that can be done without consequences, even if those consequences take 3,000 years to arrive." The next day, human ships launched simultaneous attacks on the shipyard and communications hub. They appeared from nowhere, struck hard and fast, then disappeared before Council defense fleets could respond. For the first time, the attacks included a message, broadcast clearly for all to hear. "We are humanity. We have returned. Justice is coming." The Galactic Council could no longer deny the impossible. The species they had tried to erase had returned, and they wanted answers. 1 year passed since the first public message from humanity. The Galactic Council tried to keep the situation quiet at first. They claimed the attacks were from normal rebels using myths to scare people. But the evidence kept growing. More human ships appeared. More messages spread through the galaxy. The truth became harder to hide. The day of Operation Reckoning finally arrived. Joseph stood on the bridge of the Reclamation, now upgraded with the best technology humans had developed. Around him, Lisa, Gregory, Patricia, and all the others who had led humanity's return watched the screens showing their ships moving into position. "All fleet elements report ready," Richard said from his command chair. 25 human ships had gathered, each powerful enough to challenge Council vessels twice their size. "Diana confirms the broadcast system access is prepared," Vanessa added. "We can take over all Council communications when we give the signal." Joseph took a deep breath. This moment would change everything. There would be no hiding after today. "Begin Operation Reckoning," he ordered. Across Council space, human ships appeared near major worlds. They did not attack. They simply took positions, weapons ready but not firing. Council defense fleets scrambled to respond but held back, unsure what was happening. On the council homeworld, Diana worked at her station in the central communications facility. No one paid attention to her as alarms sounded about the strange ships. She plugged a small device into her console and sent the activation signal. Across the galaxy, on every council world, every screen and communication device suddenly showed the same image, the human logo, a phoenix rising from Earth's ashes. Then Joseph's face appeared. People of the Galactic Council, I am Joseph Winters, leader of humanity. 3,000 years ago, your council voted to destroy our home planet, Earth, and attempted to erase our species from existence and from history. The message continued, showing the actual council meeting where the vote happened, preserved in human records. It showed Earth's destruction. It showed the evidence that had been erased from council archives. Some of us escaped. We slept for 3,000 years and now we have returned. We demand justice for this crime, the greatest genocide in galactic history. The broadcast named the 3 surviving council members who had led the vote for Earth's destruction. High Counselor Zex of the Vrax, Science Minister Loon of the Polari, and Defense Director Mutak of the Zentari. We are establishing a blockade around your council homeworld. We demand these 3 individuals surrender to face trial for their crimes. We demand the council acknowledge what was done to Earth and restore the true history to all records. The message ended with a deadline. You have 1 planetary rotation to comply. After that, we will take further action. On the council homeworld, panic erupted. The 3 named leaders were rushed to secure facilities. Emergency meetings were called. Military commanders demanded permission to attack the human ships. Politicians argued about what to do. High Counselor Zex, ancient even by his species standards, remained calm. These humans are bluffing. They cannot have enough strength to challenge the entire council. But reports kept coming in. Human ships had appeared at 20 major worlds simultaneously. Their technology seemed advanced beyond council standards, and public reaction to the broadcast was not what the leaders expected. On many worlds, people took to the streets not in fear of humans but in anger at their own government. The revelation that council history had been falsified made many question what other lies they had been told. Several outer worlds announced they would not fight against humans if the council ordered it. Lisa led a strike team to the surface of the council homeworld. Using technology that blocked detection, they landed near the council chamber. Their mission was not to attack, but to capture the chamber and create a space for the trial to happen. Move quietly and stun only, Lisa ordered her team. No killing unless absolutely necessary. The team moved through the grand buildings of the council government. Most people had fled when the human ships appeared. Those who remained were quickly stunned and secured. The team reached the council chamber without raising alarms. We're in position, Lisa reported to Joseph. On the reclamation, Gregory finished preparing the evidence presentation. He had created a detailed holographic recreation of Earth and its destruction, built from the memories and records preserved by the awakened humans. The evidence is ready, he told Joseph. When they enter the chamber, they'll see exactly what happened to our world. Patricia organized the testimony of the oldest awakened humans, those who had been adults when Earth was destroyed and remembered it clearly. They're nervous but ready to speak, she reported. This will be hard for them, but they understand how important it is. The deadline approached. Council military commanders prepared to attack the human ships despite the risks. Then a surprising message came from the 3 accused council members. We will surrender to human custody, the message read. We request the right to explain our actions before whatever judgment is passed. Joseph had not expected this. He called an emergency meeting with his advisors. It could be a trap, Lisa warned from her position in the council chamber. Or they might believe they can justify what they did. Gregory suggested. Let them come, Joseph decided. We want justice, not just revenge. That means hearing their side, too. Under heavy guard, the 3 ancient council members were brought to the chamber where Lisa waited. Human ships allowed specific council representatives to land as well. The most important galactic leaders gathered, surrounded by human guards. Joseph arrived last, walking into the chamber with Patricia, Gregory, and the other original leaders of the reclamation. The room was silent as the humans faced the council, members who had ordered their world destroyed. High Counselor Zek spoke first. You have gone to impressive lengths to create this drama, but whatever you believe happened to your world, it was a necessary action for galactic security. Necessary? Joseph asked quietly. Explain how killing billions of innocent people was necessary. The trial began. Council records were shown. Human testimonies were given. The three accused spoke of fear. Fear of human unpredictability, human expansion, human emotion. They described debates about Earth's potential threat and the final vote. We believed we were protecting the galaxy from a dangerous species, Defense Director Mutak insisted. History has proven us right. Look at what you've accomplished in secret. You've built weapons that can challenge the entire council. We built these things because you tried to kill us all, Joseph replied. You created the very threat you feared by your actions. The trial lasted hours. It was broadcast across the galaxy. Billions watched as the truth of Earth's destruction was examined from all sides. Finally, Joseph stood to deliver humanity's judgment. The chamber went silent. We came seeking revenge, he said. But I've realized something important during this trial. Revenge would only continue the cycle of fear and violence that led to Earth's destruction. He looked at the three ancient council members. Your punishment is this. You will help us establish a new Earth colony. You will live among humans and learn who we really are, not who you feared we might be. The council representatives looked shocked. Some humans in the chamber seemed disappointed by the lack of harsh punishment. Additionally, Joseph continued, the Galactic Council will acknowledge the truth of what happened, restore all records of Earth and humanity, and grant us equal status among galactic species with territory to establish new human worlds. The council representatives conferred briefly, then agreed to the terms. There was no real choice. Human ships still surrounded their major worlds. 1 year later, Joseph stood on a hill overlooking the first city on a planet they named Promise. The soil was like Earth's. The sky was a similar blue. It would never replace their lost homeworld, but it was a beginning. Lisa joined him on the hill. Was Mercy the right choice? She asked. Joseph watched children playing in the distance, human children who had been born after the awakening, who would grow up under an alien sun but know the true history of their people. Fear destroyed Earth, Joseph said. We couldn't let fear guide us too. Justice isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's making things right for the future. In the city below, humans worked alongside aliens from across the galaxy. The three former council members lived in a special compound, helping integrate human knowledge into galactic records. They would never be forgiven completely, but they were helping create something new. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors or victims, but as equals with a voice that could never be erased again.